Oh, wow, I finally did it. I finally bought One's Justice 2 on Steam, and I just gotta say, customize character. Actually, let's go to the shop. But watch how fast this thing loads on the PC.
You can improve
Done!
your character costume.
Oh my gosh, you people may not realize it, because I edited it out, but the thing is, One's Justice on Switch, the load times are atrocious. It takes like 30 seconds to get in between screens. It's ridiculous. But thankfully, One's Justice 2 is a much better game with more content, and I put it on a PC. So it loads within almost less than a second. It's amazingly fast. So yeah, we'll be customizing characters in this game from now on. Oh, mouse controls. Oh, I'm sorry. I know you guys came here for the chapters, but I'm just like thrilled that I finally own this game. On the PC, it loads lightning fast, and it's not a review of the whole game. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, just super happy to be using this game. Mouse controls, really easy. Can customize characters much faster. As you can see, I built up a good amount of money, so we can customize characters fairly easily. Character select, okay, and yeah. So last we left off, it was chapter 322, and we are like 4 chapters ahead now, so we got a lot to cover in this video. So I can't be gawking about One's Justice 2 anymore. Okay, so let's do this. Real quick.
I want to try it on.
I already made her. Dang it, she already looks too awesome. Wait, we can customize 100% form oh, yeah, baby. Now we're talking. Okay. So real quick, let's choose a costume for him. You know what? We probably don't need to change that part. How about... Oh my gosh, the scroll wheel works too. Fantastic. You can give a headset to him? That's just ridiculous. Man, there's a lot of stuff that wasn't in... what's it called? There's a lot of stuff that wasn't in One's Justice 1. I don't know, we'll give him a little communication device. 700, I think that's a good deal. Wait, why am I getting charged money? Hold on, cut this part out. Alright, well, we got a good start. Let's get into the chapter now. Or multiple chapters. So we had 323. So the beginning of this one is something that a lot of fans were kind of had gripes with, because the principal gets into the details of how UA is more defensive, and it's kind of ridiculous. Like, he's prepared these multiple layers of wooden structures in the school, and like all the rooms and stuff in it are connected to an elevator system so that they can be moved around, and it's just insane. And like a lot of the fans were like, okay, this is just ridiculous, there is no way this would exist. I was like, it doesn't bother me because of the fact that if you want to bring Deku back to UA, how are you going to do it? I mean, Toma Shigaraki can just walk in and just make the whole place crumble. You can't just have a normal defense system. It's like, if you want Midoriya to be back at UA, there has to be a way to achieve that in the story. And this is really the best way of doing that. Sure, it's ridiculous, and it's like, how many construction crews had to be in here to construct all of this? And like, it's got to be huge. This would take like a decade to build. Or at least you'd think it would take like a decade to build. This is like a massive endeavor. Endeavor. But yeah, I'm not going to get into the specifics of much of this because we got 4 chapters to get through. I can't be reading out every word bubble. This is just, I'll be completely going over the newest chapter that just came out, but the first 3 chapters I'm just going to do a brief summary of. They have defenses against Toma by controlling blood supply or something like that. And didn't they say that the transportation system is connected to Shiketsu? Okay, yeah. So the principal's basically like, yeah, we could like transfer people from schools. I'm like, that's impossible. There is no way you'd be able to transport people miles away to a completely different school without having some underground like bullet train. And I know there's no way in hell they build that. So yeah, I feel like this has been taken a bit too far. It's like, hey, this is the perfect counter for the League of Villains. Is like, it's a bit too perfect. It's like no one would be able to build this. But it doesn't bother me that much. People are really bothered by this. I just look past it. I'm like, okay, it's ridiculous. There's no way this would be made, but I accept it. I'll suspend my disbelief. It's one of the most ridiculous things in the entire series, but I don't care. It's not going to ruin the story for me. So yeah, that's why I'm paying for it all. Oh yeah, the principal's paying for all of the defenses. He's got to be like insanely rich to afford this much. It's ridiculous. We are only one step away from both. Move together. Above all, I believe that there is more than enough reason for Deku. So yeah, he goes through this entire explanation of like, we have like this entire structure that contains multiple layers of wood and it can move anywhere and it's just incredibly secure. So just bring Deku back here. It's like, okay. So yeah, that was this chapter starts with a flashback, focuses on Ochako, and then we return from the last chapter that I covered, which was basically Deku was going into the school or attempting to go into the school when there's a massive crowd of people being protected by the school and just being like, hey, you can't bring him here, don't do that. It's like, Shigaraki's gonna come from. You said we'd be safe. Don't come in here. Get out. Okay, then we get a nice shot of, we got Eri, concerned. Not really looking out at Deku yet, but very concerned. We've got Midoriya's mom rushing in with tears. In the background, you can see Ragdoll along with Koda. That's what his name. I can't believe I forgot his name. Koda. He's a cute kid. But yeah, you've got Koda looking on. All these people are like, get out. It looks like people are looking up information on their phones. You can see, I didn't notice this the first time I read this chapter, but you can see AFO, OFA, all for one, one for all. There were some who convinced, but by now, there isn't a shred of belief in them. Everyone calm down! Okay, so we got Mike talking about, must be difficult, is my proposal. We came here because we trusted your words. Oh yeah, they're getting upset at Best Jeanist. Jeanist comes in, basically saying how they used Izuku Midoriya to try and fight all for one, but it didn't work, and so now he's back here. Oh gosh, that's ridiculous. To take the first initiative, we came up with a plan and used Izuku Midoriya as bait to figure out where the villains were located. We were only able to capture a few due to the insufficient amount of investigators. Let's see. So yeah, basically Best Jeanist takes the reins and says how he would have died by now. If he had stayed out in the field, he would have died. I mean, he hadn't been eating, he hadn't been sleeping, so of course. Then we've got Hawks and Endeavor standing, I think it's outside of UA. And then Best Jeanist is like, please let this boy stay. And like, everyone's basically being a jerk and being like, you heroes failed us. This is all your fault. That's utter crap. Are you guys even heroes? Oh man, then you've got this really crazy shot of the crowd where they're basically just speed lines. I mean, not speed lines, kind of like shaded lines. Lots of lines really close together, and my gosh, it just gives you this sense of dread that the crowd has become a monster and it's about to swallow the society whole. And this is when Ochako bursts on the scene And she's like floats over everyone. And you see Ochako's parents looking up at her. Mike, a rabbit? And she lands there with a megaphone. Oh wait, I see. There's a little outline next to Mike. Basically implying that she grabbed it. I'm noticing some stuff I didn't notice last time. So that's pretty interesting. And then basically Ochako's trying to calm down the crowd, saying that Midoriya is not forcing his way back here. It's not the heroes. I mean, it's kind of the heroes, but basically Ochako telling everyone that it was the students' idea to bring him back, and that he left to protect them, to protect everyone at UA. And she's really trying to get everyone to look at him and look at how ragged he is and how messed up he looks. It's like, I could say just by Midoriya removing his mask, he looks a lot more human than he did. Like, he needs a bath and he's like all grody and messed up looking, but there we go. That looks pretty close to the way he looked in his ragged form, right? We get lots of shots of Midoriya's mother in this chapter, crying. Like, she's probably looking at her, looking at Midoriya, seeing how ragged and messed up he is, and she's just in tears. He wants to do something to change our situation. He kept moving for others despite knowing that he could be attacked at any moment. We finally get to see the tall, animal-like woman that Midoriya saved several chapters ago. She's there. Bakugo basically telling Midoriya that he can rely on them. Then we've got a nice shot of Cementos and a few other heroes. So yeah, this chapter was really Ochako's moment to shine. And now she's promising that this will lead to the birth of a true hero, one that will surpass All Might. Okay, and now we move on to chapter 324, and it begins with a really cute shot of Ochako. This scarf kind of looks good. So one thing that fans have been bringing up over for a long time is that they were like, well, what is Ochako's purpose? At first she was there to get money, and then she was there to do this and do that, and then now she's there to be the hero that helps heroes in pain. And I feel like that's her goal. For the longest time, people were like, Horikoshi doesn't know what he's doing with Ochako. What's her purpose? And I think this is her purpose. I think we're finally at her purpose, and that's to help heroes that are tired, heroes that are weary. And she is fulfilling that purpose right now by helping Midoriya get into UA. And okay, and now at last the audience is calming down a little bit, and they're no longer like, their faces are no longer in deep shadow. They look more human, and they're starting to look at Midoriya and they're like, whoa, he does look rough. He does look really dirty. Yes, he does. And then we've got like this animal girl who I don't know if she's supposed to be like a deer or what her species is, but yeah. There's still one jerk that's left in the audience who's still like, yeah, well, so what? And Ochaka's just like, no, heroes are the only ones coated in that filth. Oh, and the one jerk's like, what, should we be the ones covered in filth? Heroes are the only ones covered in filth. So give him a moment's rest to wash away the grime. I'm Homer Simpson. Wow, Ochako. Oh man, look at Sue is really impressed. Midoriya, right now, Uraraka is fighting for you. For you, of course, but for everyone else too. Fighting for our right to smile. And then, of course, we've got Midoriya tearing up. Okay, so as I was looking through some of the comments that were made on this chapter, or at least one of the chapters that Ochako was was talking to the people on, and they were like, this speech is hollow. This is worthless. This is a really dumb speech. Chaku didn't do anything. It's like, I don't think there has to be some perfectly written speech of like, let's get some professional to make the perfect speech for Ochako. I don't think that's really the point. Like, because Ochako says right here, if you want me to stand up here and reassure you, I'm sorry, I can't do that right now. Ochako's not, I have magical words that'll make it better. No, she's just doing her best and just trying to get people to realize what Deku's been up against in the state he's in. And I think she's doing as good a job as she possibly could. And not to mention, all the UA students were seen during the UA Sports Festival, so everybody knows who she is because she took on Bakugo. So it might be different to be coming from a student than a hero. It's like, because, you know, they've lost faith in heroes, but maybe a student, someone who's trying to become a hero, maybe that comes from a different place. And then we get another flashback basically showing that during a time when everyone was like being rescued by heroes and Ochako's father like, where are you looking? The heroes are that way. Or is like, but she looks and she sees how the hero is really hurting. Back in this time there was a hero and he's all scratched up and banged up and Ochako just wants to help him. Now this is the part that I find a little confusing when she says, please lend me your strength so that we have a shot at smiling together into the future. And she remembers back on Toga, and I'm just thinking, I wonder why she thought of Toga here. I'm not entirely sure. It's interesting that she thought of Toga. Couldn't tell you why. I'd probably have to go back and look at that interaction, which I don't have time to do right now. But yeah, it probably had to do with their last meeting. What he needs is your help. Please find it in your hearts to let him rest and recover. Forget together with all of us. Izuku Midoriya is trying to take on all the responsibility that comes with his power, but he's still got plenty to learn himself. He's just a regular high school... Okay, I feel like this moment is really powerful. He's just a regular high school kid who's not even in his second year, even though he should be in his second year. It's like they didn't start the second year. I find that confusing. Like, they got through their first year and we're still first years. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're second years at this point. I don't know what's going on with that. This place is his. This is... Okay, so I've been, trying to summarize and trying to just go over each chapter. Not, reading everything, but I will read this next part because it is possibly the most important part of the story for a long time. Like, there have been some big moments, but this is as important as a part in the very beginning of the story when Midoriya's like, this is the story of how I became the greatest hero. But this is just as important as that. It's a bad omen to trip and fall. This is the story of how I became the greatest hero. This is his Hero Academia. Let him stay here. And Midoriya is down on his knees. He's so tired at this point and crying. And also, one step away, try as it might, humanity struggles to make true progress. Here comes the animal lady. And there's Koda. Which shoes do you want? Oh yeah, this talking about how Koda wanted to buy the same shoes that Midoriya had because he saved Koda's life. The story of how we all became the greatest heroes. That box right there, that text box right there, is one of the most important text boxes in this whole series because it fundamentally changes the goal of the story or where the story is going. Because all this time we thought this is the story of how Midoriya becomes the greatest hero. But now it's swapped and it's different now. It's like how we all became the greatest heroes. So it's no longer about just Midoriya. It never was just about Midoriya, but just the fact that the narration admits it is pretty impressive. I mean, for one thing, we've had a pretty huge focus on Endeavor's family. Of course, there are lots of characters contributing to the story. It's not all about Midoriya, and this part of the story is really just confirming that. Okay, but yeah, this was an amazing chapter. Great chapter if you're an Ochako fan like me. I can't wait to see what happens next. Chapter 325. Okay, so at this point, Mineta tries to rush forward and help out Midoriya. But it's not his place. He's like crying and he's like wants to comfort Midoriya. But Ida blocks him and is like, "This isn't our moment. Isn't that right, Araka?" And then at this point, you got Koda coming in. "Midoriya! I'm sorry, I was too scared to run over here. Sorry, so sorry. Then that lady stood up and said that stuff. I had to try, because I want to be like you." Wow. This is a great moment for Koda, because the last time we saw him, he was clearly admiring Midoriya, because looking up to him. I mean, he bought the shoes that looked like Midoriya's shoes, but he wouldn't admit it. He'd be like the Pussycats were like, "Hey, guess who bought these shoes?" And he's like, "Oh," he didn't want to admit it. But here he's outright saying that, "I look up to you, I want to be just like you." You don't gotta cry anymore, okay? And this shot, I love this shot, how Koda's telling him not to cry. And it's like, "Listen, I'm a little kid. Let me cry for you, okay, buddy?" We still don't know this woman's name. And I really like to know her name, because she looks like a cool character. I like her design. Basically talking about how Shelters turned her down, but then she came to UA, and it's all thanks to Midoriya. Such an emotional moment. Everyone's crying. I'm missing up. I like that one of the other civilians is basically saying, "Hey, come on, let's hear him out. Instead of freaking out and yelling at him, let's hear him out. You know, like good people." The boy's not asking to kick his feet up and stay here forever. But supplies and good help are hard to find out there these days. So the boy needs a break before the world grinds him down to nothing. This place is his last best bet. Basically talking here about how All Might was holding the whole world up, but people forgot about the heart and soul that made the man. Because All Might wasn't invincible. And one of my favorite moments from My Hero Academia, and especially lines from All Might, was when Midoriya brings up, All Might always saves the day with a fearless smile. And basically All Might being like, there was plenty of fear in that smile. Basically saying that I'm only human, I'm not some god. Like, I can't save everyone all the time. I don't know that I'm going to save everyone all the time. And that's just the way it is. Man, lots of unnecessary things to buy, huh?
I am here.
Purchase.
Making the purchase.
I'll show it to Eri.
Show it to Eri. So we've got that one guy who I was talking about earlier, who was the one jerk in the crowd that remained, that was still like, "Oh, we don't want him here." And he's basically starting to come around and be like, if we let you rest, will we get to go back to our old lives eventually? Basically talking directly to Midoriya. We'll bring it back. Did you happen to hear Aravity's speech? Come in and see for yourselves. All is well, at least for the time being. Okay, so Endeavor's basically like, in the end, all we did was cause more pain for Deku. I don't fully believe that Deku's time out there was worthless. I fully believe that it was good for Deku to go it alone. He went alone way longer than he should have. But I think it was a good experience for him because he got to really use One for All out in the field and practice all of his new quirks out in the field. And I think that was good for him. The problem was when he wasn't sleeping, he wasn't eating, he was just going. That's the part that shouldn't have been the way it was. Now Hawk's bringing up the fact that One for All is more than just the power that's within Midoriya and All Might. It's the power that linked All Might to Midoriya, and it linked Class A to Midoriya, and now through Ochako, she's linked these people, these civilians that were all terrified and angry and afraid, to Midoriya. So yeah, Hawks is really seeing One for All in a different light here. Okay, and then we get this great shot, and this is kind of what I wanted like a while back, you know, when Midoriya was taking on Class A. I wanted a big detailed shot of Class A all together ready to fight Midoriya. I didn't get it, but I'll take this as a consolation prize. This is a pretty detailed, massive two-page spread of just about all the characters. I think all of Class A is here. I don't think all of Class A. I don't see Tape Guy. I see most of the class. Not all of them are here. Most of them are here, though. And at last we have Midoriya is finally reunited with his mother, and they're both crying. And this is great. Everybody's crying. They're all crying. Except for Ida. Ida's not crying. See where heroes have time to kill. One so bright we can't but grin. Once again, Hawk's going on about he just wants heroes to have a whole bunch of time on their hands. And then you've got Shoto talking to Endeavor, basically saying, we do this together. It's no longer just the main heroes and Midoriya are just going at it all the time. It is now a joint effort with everyone together, all the students, all the heroes, joining their power together. And that's where the future of the series is going, and it's much more exciting. I enjoyed Midoriya's solo adventure. I think it was necessary, and it was a great change of pace, and it was just nice to see Deku looking different and doing all kinds of new things. But now we're bringing it back together. All the characters are coming together to join forces, and I like that. I think that's what was destined to happen. Now we've got the principal talking to Aizawa, saying that their class basically was able to restore Deku. Oh wow, look at all this stuff I got unlocked from doing story mode.
What do you think, Eri?
Who, Eri? Why is... Man, Deku's like so wanting to get Eri's approval.
Eri?
Dude, Eri's not here.
What do you think, Eri?
You look ridiculous.
What do you think, Eri?
Shut up, Harry's not here.
What do you
You're now royalty.
What do you think, Eri?
We'll just give him these headphones. Alright, well, we customized our character. I like how Aizawa says, be sure to tell my class president, job well done. Oh, we also see that Aizawa has an artificial leg now. So yeah, poor guy has suffered so much. He lost an eye, he lost a leg. It's like, I really can't stand people that say that there were no consequences to the war arc, or whatever you want to call it. The heroes versus the heroes versus the League. There were big consequences, not just the death of Midnight and a handful of heroes we don't care about. But yeah, I mean, Aizawa lost an arm. I mean, he lost a leg. He lost an eye. Rabbit Girl lost a leg, I think. Rumi lost a limb too. I mean, it's pretty crazy where they're like, there were no consequences. I guess they wanted... Now, I'm going to compare that arc to the... I'm going to compare that arc to Marineford in One Piece. Now, so if you haven't read One Piece and you're planning to, and you're going to get up to that point, be sure to. I'm going to bring up some spoilers here. If you're not caught up on One Piece, at least not up to Marineford, then you're gonna want to get caught up. I'll include like a little timestamp. Go to this time where I'll stop talking about Marineford. For anyone who's read One Piece or doesn't plan on reading One Piece, then feel free to stay. So Marineford, let me bring up a list of casualties real quick. Okay, so I'm going to go off of memory because I can't find an exact list, but basically there were about, I'd say, 2 main character deaths at Marineford, and one character I can remember that died that wasn't really a main character, but was kind of left an impression on me. So Oars, who was a giant Oni who was on Whitebeard's crew, he died, but I'm not sure. But I mean, if his death counts, and it was established a bit better than some of the heroes that died in that arc. But really, we had one major death, Midnight, and you can say all you want about, well, that wasn't a big enough death, but Midnight's death is going to affect Momo a lot, because Midnight really was a big mentor for Momo. So yeah, that's pretty huge. Not to mention, we had several heroes that got horribly injured during that war. So when the point I'm trying to get to is, I don't know why people complain so much about that arc. They're like, there wasn't enough death. I'm like, what did you want? A member of Class A to die? I mean, it could have happened, but I don't really think the story would have been improved by it. I really don't think it would have been improved by it. I think there was enough devastation caused. It greatly affected Hero Society. It greatly affected the heroes' motivations. So I think enough was done during that arc. I wouldn't say it was like the greatest arc ever, but I enjoyed that arc. And I think it did set Midoriya on an interesting path, as well as the other characters. So yeah, I'm sorry I'm going off on this, but yeah, it drives me crazy when everyone's like, it didn't have a big enough impact, or there wasn't enough death. I think it had a big enough impact. I think Midnight's death was more than enough. Not to mention, we got Twice's death. Yeah, we got to consider the villain side as well. Because Twice was a huge character, and I'm pretty sure he was probably popular. Now, he wasn't a hero, but still, that counts. Hawks got greatly injured, and he's still in a weakened state. If you saw his interaction with Nagant, he was still in a weakened state. He wasn't really able to save her on his own. So yeah, okay, okay, let's just move on. Sorry, I keep going on about that. So yeah, the next page. So apparently they still have Kurogiri in custody. I had thought that Kurogiri would have escaped when the Tartarus prison was broken out of, but apparently they still have him in custody. So that's interesting. That could still go somewhere, and still highly involves Aizawa and Mike. Okay, they're taking precautions about Toga, basically keeping people in isolation to make sure that they're not Toga. So yeah, Toga is basically a difficult quirk to deal with. And at this point, we get a panel of All Might. So how long did it take me to get to this point? An hour. Okay, well I'm going to edit that down, but yeah, I had 3 chapters to cover before we got to that point. And now we're going into a brand new chapter. I have never read this chapter before. I will be reading all the dialogue, just like I normally do. So we're going to find out what's up with All Might this chapter. Okay. here we go. This is the first page is the only page I've seen of this. I knew that it was about All Might, but I already knew that because he was the focus in the final panel last time. So here we go. All Might is driving through the street. Where are you off to now? I'm checking on the hero-hating groups who refuse to join a shelter ectoplasm. I know I can't stop you. I'm coming too, whether you like it or not. And then at that point, Midoriya's like, you shouldn't be following me anymore. It's too dangerous. I'm more powerful than you were, and I'm gonna do it on my own. Okay, bye. And he jumps away. And that's the last we saw of All Might. And now we finally get to catch up with All Might and see what's going on here. Chapter 326. Who are you really? It looks like All Might has found the crumbling, cracked mass that Deku left behind after his fight with Class A. So he'll probably have to hand that over to Midoriya later. He's picked it up. And now he looks over at his statue and he sees a sign, I am not here. Looking at... This is just phenomenal imagery right here. All Might holding the crumbling mask of the person that inherited One for All from him. Looking at the statue of himself with that sign on it. The rain's coming down. I'm just digging this imagery, man. I'm lapping this up. This is glorious. Couldn't do anything for your disciple when he was hurting. You can live. You can be here. For a lot of people, that's all the push they need. I am not here. At this point, you're only getting in the way, All Might. Ha! Wait a second. What is that? Someone said, ha. Oh gosh, it's Stain. Oh my gosh, Stain! It feels like it's been like 7 chapters since we last saw him. He was looking at All Might and Midoriya, talking to each other. And let's see. That vile blasphemy against a great hero. Take it back, you witless fool. Hero killer Stain. You never crossed my path back when I was still on the job. Our face-to-face meeting got delayed, but I never imagined we'd meet like this. Explain yourself. Sure. You missed a lot while you were locked up. You see, I am All Might in the flesh. Not that you know it by looking at me. Wrong. You're not All Might. I can't blame you for doubting. He can change forms for like a second to show his fully powered muscular form. So, you gonna kill me, or... You're not All Might, you sham. Here, upon hero holy ground, you dare falsely claim the mantle of hero. Who are you really? Why presume to call yourself a hero? Speak! Falsely claim. Fair enough. My whole life, I felt spurred to action. Oh, are we getting a little flashback? I couldn't sit back and accept it, when the madness kept taking from people, when their daily lives were stolen away so senselessly. Powerless though I was, I refused to sit on the sidelines, and I had to make the world a better place somehow. But I've run my course, and this is the end result. I'd give my life in an instant to protect my disciple, but I couldn't bring myself to tell him to take time for himself. It's hard to explain, but I feel as if I'm the only one who's become more and more distant from heroism. Oh gosh, what's this? Stain's coming in. What's he gonna do? He's just grabbed All Might. What is this? Oh, a woman showed up and he grabbed All Might and hid. What's that? From the start, I haven't felt real bloodlust from him. A warm embrace? I don't know. We're pals at this level. Ideal timing, behold. They did it again, huh? Well, until they get the message. Every day she purges the blasphemy erected by the hero detractors. She likely travels from a nearby shelter and causes no small inconvenience to those in charge. Risking her life out here, and for nothing. Why on earth would she? Why, that woman was the last person All Might saved. That's right. That's the woman that was under the debris when All Might was fighting All for One. Oh man, I completely forgot about her. Damn, this is great. She's the one cleaning the statue, taking the sign down. That's so great. All Might looks shocked in that panel like, I can't believe she's the one I saved, and yet she's protecting my statue? In the worst of times, All Might would maintain that grin and devote every fiber of his being to the people. It had nothing to do with powers or quirks. The man we knew as All Might could not live his life any other way. He carved those ideals into his very soul and was lauded for it. Who are you to presume to know the first thing about All Might? No! Look upon that woman! The end result! You say, his influence lives on! This is brilliant. The fact that Stain shows up and is giving All Might kind of a forced pep talk. I fucking love it. And it makes sense to me. A lot of people were wondering if Stain was going to kill All Might. I really never could see Stain killing All Might, because even in his weakened state, All Might was the one hero that Stain was like, All Might is worthy! So yeah, this is a great use of Stain's character. I'm like, I am digging the hell out of this. The flickering ember he left behind is nurtured by those select few who succumb neither to chilling rain nor howling wind until the ember grows anew into a roaring blaze. The people must not let the fire die out. No matter how undignified the struggle, they must stoke the flames so long as they draw breath. I'm doing my best. You too, okay? A hero can only claim that title as long as his soul burns fiercely in service of others. However, say a god has fallen prostrate upon the earth, and his divine soul has turned feeble and mortal. What? You saw that? All this time you've been... No, I don't presume to know you. But if you are a true hero, make use of this information from my time in Tartarus. Then come for the life of Stain, the man who murdered 40 heroes. All for the sake of fixing the society. Oh, the rain's letting up. So, Stain has given All Might a clue. He gave him some information he learned in Tartarus. Fascinating. To be continued. Okay. Awesome. Damn. That was a brilliant All Might and Stain chapter. All Might and Stain, the newest buddies. I'm digging Stain's mask. I like how, it's kind of torn up, looking rough, kind of like Midoriya was. But yeah. Great chapter. Now, question. If I go into free battle, can I play as Stain? Because, I might have to do something with Stain here. Oh, yeah. If you've never played One's Justice 2, Mike comes out and explains everything. Yeah, the 3 and 4 player mode isn't the best. Team up. It's possible to cooperate in battle with one player controls the main character. When a psychic takes damage, they will leave the stage. Blah blah blah.
If you have multiple controllers, you can play with multiple people.
Yeah, but don't those other people go away if they get hit? Wait. Oh, these are downloadable content. Okay, you can play as Stain. Alright, well, I did go through the trouble of making Midoriya, so we'll do... Oh, custom.
You going to choose
There we
from the
go.
presets? It looks good.
Check
No
him
time.
out! Midoriya with Ochako.
Support is my specialty.
And Ida. Actually, Bakugo.
To the death!
And then the CPU is going to be... Huh, you know what? Since Stain was a big part of this chapter, and All Might...
Leave it to me.
Stain and All Might, the best buds! And then, hey, here's a thought. What about regular Deku? You know, I just realized I think they got rid of the whole ring out function. I don't think ring outs exist anymore. That's fine by me. I never really liked ring out system in One's Justice, the first one.
Everything will be okay. I am here.
If I don't spill this blood, who will?
Stain and All Might, the best friends forever! Ow. Ow, jeez. But yeah, this chapter. Wow. Okay, so we started out with All Might being in his car. His car of invincibility. I think that's the same car. Isn't it like called Hercules or something? But yeah. But yeah, he's going down the road. He shows up at his statue and he's like... He finds Midoriya's mask and he looks at his statue and he's like, well, you're pathetic, All Might. You're just worthless now. There's nothing you can do. You couldn't even protect Midoriya, who was just basically destroying his own body. You're worthless. Thanks, guys. Yeah, teamwork. Oh shit. Ow. Ugh. But yeah, man, talk about an entrance. When Stain appears, you're like, holy crap, what is going to happen? All Might is powerless. It's like, it gives you such dread, and Stain looks awesome as always. But yeah, he's really, you know, doing his thing, doing what he was designed for the, basically doing what he was designed to do. We haven't seen Stain in forever. And so, the fact that he shows up to give, like, All Might this little really weird pep talk, it's like, not what I was expecting, but yeah, it's perfect for him. Because no one worshipped All Might. I mean, seriously, Stain worshipped All Might. He was like, I want to be killed by All Might. Let it happen, please. All Might is worthy! Plus Ultra on your face. On page 12, it's like, just look at Stain's face. He looks crazy. Every time Stain shows up, it's I mean, we haven't seen like peak Stain in like forever. It's been years since we've seen Stain in his peak. And he's just got crazy faces in this chapter, man. Like, look at how his expressions are drawn. He's like, rah! I just can see his screams. Could you ever imagine that you could see someone's screams? Because you can totally see Stain's screams in this chapter. I can like, and I like how All Might's like, so are you here to kill me? It's like, that's pretty sad, because All Might's like, well, I'm fucked. I don't have powers. If you want to kill me, yeah, probably now's a good time. Oh gosh! Oh, All Might and Stain! Best friends forever! Yeah! I also like that Stain didn't believe that All Might was All Might.
I won't let it go.
He was basically like, hey! He's basically like, you're not All Might. You are definitely not All Might. What do you think you know about All Might? And All Might's like, oh, well, here, check this out. And he turns into All Might for a second. And he's like... And Zane's like, dude, it has nothing to do with power. It's like, All Might... What was amazing about All Might was that he'd always try his hardest to save everyone. And it's just... It didn't matter. The power, it wasn't about it. The power was about his personality. How he would just keep going beyond, plus ultra. It's like, you think you know anything about All Might? I think not. Okay, it's time for Stain. One thing I definitely didn't expect is that the woman that All Might saved would show up again. Like, I completely forgot about her. And that was a great moment where even in the middle of a huge battle, All Might's still striving to save people. But yeah, the fact that she shows up and is just cleaning the statue, it meant so much. And it's like, apparently Stain's been watching her a lot. Holy crap, Stain's kicking Rappa's butt. Oh yeah, feels good. Feels bad. But yeah, All Might's like, well, why is she fixing the statue? Like, he didn't even recognize her at first, which makes sense. I mean, I didn't recognize her at first either. And it's like, Stain's like, don't you recognize her? She's the last woman you saved. So yeah, I really like All Might's expressions in this chapter, how he's like so in shock from like seeing her going after the statue. Just seeing her like fix up the statue. Wow, Stain, you missed, buddy. Rappa's a pretty fun character. I kind of wish we got to see more of him. I don't know if he got out of the prison during the prison break or not. May not have been tough enough to be considered for Tartarus. Probably not. But yeah, lots of raining. When is the rain gonna stop? The rain has just been coming down and coming down and coming down in My Hero Academia lately. Oh, man, Stain feels good to play as. I like that Stain sees the true power of All Might, and that he knows about Class A, or at least it's implied that he knows because of the nice shot of all the heroes. It's like the true power of All Might was inspiring people. And even though All Might has lost his power at this point, he remains, and he still has the potential to, like, inspire people.
Those without belief will become.
I kind of wonder about something, though. It's strange that he can turn into his muscular form at all, considering that he lost One for All. Like, how can he do that? It's kind of weird that he can still do that. I mean, maybe that's his own power? I don't get that. No, he doesn't have a quirk. Yeah, I don't get it. There's not as much to talk about during this chapter as I thought. Item acquired, player card. Cool, I guess. I got some free stuff.
Let's take a really cute pic.
This next part's going to be fast forwarded.
Can you tell me who you want to take a picture of?
Okay, so this is going to be great. We're going to take a picture of Stain and All Might and Midoriya and Bakugo. Okay, so now you got to see me make a funny little photo of All Might and Stain. I think I'll make that a thing that I do in every episode. Just make kind of a go into photo mode and kind of pose the characters to make them look kind of like what happened in the chapter. So yeah, Stain and All My Best Friends Forever. Perfect. And that'll also be in the thumbnail. But yeah, so in summation, great All Might chapter, great Stain chapter, which means it's a great chapter for everybody. And I was really shocked to see that woman again, but brilliant use of that character. Horikoshi, man, he really brings in characters you forget about and uses them and uses them very well for the story. Like, I just like the focus was on her for a while. There was several panels just showing her doing the work, getting the sign off, kind of making it more clean. Like, it just shows how much All Might means to people, even now in this dark time. So yeah, phenomenal chapter, all caught up. This is going to take a while to edit because I had to go through like 4 chapters, but still a lot of chapters. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me try out Once Justice 2. Once Justice 2 is the standard for all these videos from now on. There will no longer be Once Justice on the Switch. That game's loading times are shit and it's got less content. So yeah, thanks for watching. Next week, I think One Piece comes back. I hope One Piece comes back. So we'll get back to that. Going on break for My Hero again, unless One Piece is on break. But yeah, we'll give My Hero a couple weeks and then I'll probably come back to that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. This is a very chunky video. Give you guys lots of content. I've been seeing the My Hero videos getting more views lately, which makes me happy. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you for more manga content next time.